What's going on, everyone? It's Alex Goddard back again, and I'm here with my Football Premier League catch-up show where I'm going to be recapping on all of the Premier League action that happened during this week. So, let's begin with possibly the less exciting game that I was looking forward to, and that was Spurs versus Manchester United. And unfortunately, we might as well start with a negative in this video. Manchester United lost 2-0 against Spurs, which has really upset me, and I don't want to talk about it, but I must do just because of this video. But I have to say that Manchester United, throughout the entire game, just lacked effort. They were just utter disappointment, and there was just no passion, there was just no commitment, there was no awareness. I mean, what was the defence looking like? We even looked worse than Arsenal. I mean, that is saying something, but my word, I think the defence was absolutely shocking. And I think Matic, I don't know what's up with Matic anymore, because I think although the hyping over that he does all these amazing passes, he's such a really talented player, he is, but when he's defending a lot of the time, he's not a good defender. He's more of a defensive midfielder, not like a defender. So, and I also thought that Smalling had a really clumsy game. Phil Jones scored an own goal, giving Tottenham the second goal. And I mean Tottenham's first goal, that should have not stand, in my personal opinion. Because the thing is, when the game kicked off, Harry Kane was already in the Manchester United's half. And that automatically says that you should not be in the opponent's half when the game is about to kick off. So, for me, the goal should not stand. But anyway, I think the game itself, I felt that United had a lot of good chances to really equalise and, you know, hopefully have a chance of getting back into the game. But then when the second goal went in from Phil Jones, that killed us mentally. And I think that's what Jose Mourinho said in his interview. I think that second goal killed us mentally. And we could not even get back into the game and get another goal just so we can get back into the game and hopefully come away with a draw at least. But no, that didn't happen. I think Spurs were the better side. And I thought that Alexis Sanchez, for his first ever Manchester United Premier League debut, he was alright. I didn't say he was outstanding. He was alright. He wasn't like that kind of top class level, because the thing is, I think he worked so hard in that game, but the thing is, every single fan booed him on that stage, except for the United fans. Because the thing is, now since he's moved to Manchester United, every single fan who's not a Manchester United fan will boo Alexis Sanchez because of all of the wages he's getting right now. He's possibly got the highest wage of any other football player in the Premier League. So, from that said, people are now booing him for just being like a really terrible player, like, you know, oh, you're just a waste of money, you're not really that good, Alexis. But when you think about it, he is. But given time, although it is a debut, you don't expect him to score 5 goals within his first game against Tottenham. You don't expect that. You expect something more from him. But I think in this game he was alright for his Premier League debut. But again, I just think that the performance today from Manchester United wasn't really brilliant, I have to say. I just think that Paul Pogba even got subbed off because he was terrible. And that is saying something. When Paul Pogba is terrible and you sub him off, then you've automatically seen that Manchester United have gave up. Because when you've got Paul Pogba, who's a talented player and he's a really fantastic player, but when you see him having a terrible game and when you see him being subbed off, you know that this Manchester United side has given up and we have no chance of winning this game. And so, yeah, let's move on to another game before I get even more negative on this subject. Anyway, let's come away from a negative to a positive, and that is Swansea, who got a 3-1 victory against Arsenal. Wow. And I know for sure Mkhitaryan didn't expect that for his Premier League Arsenal debut. And Swansea were by far the better side. Arsenal were absolutely terrible. I mean, their defence is possibly the reason why they haven't spent wisely in the January transfer window. It's because, although signing a Aubameyang may be all well and good, but where's the defence? I mean, you've already got Lacazette, who's starving with goals, and then you bring a Aubameyang in the situation. Okay, you've got 4 strikers, Mkhitaryan, Mesut Ozil, Lacazette, and now Aubameyang. You've got 4 good strikers. But where's your midfield? where's your defence? Where's your goalkeeping? Although scoring goals may be all well and good, but the defence is something that is definitely crucial in a game. And when you don't have that in a game, when you have no defence whatsoever, then it's a recipe for disaster for Arsenal. The defence needs to be improving, and I think that they've spent wrong in this January transfer window. Again, signing Aubameyang is fine. He's going to get you a few goals, but I would sign 2 more defenders. Because right now, that defence is absolutely terrible. Although Monreal and somebody else is possibly alright in that defence. But the other defenders, boy, what were they doing? Sloppy passes to Cech. And then all of a sudden, Cech does a really weak pass and gives the ball away to Jordan Ayew. And he scores the goal to give Swansea the lead. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I just think Arsenal nowadays, when they're facing up against weaker sides, don't ever predict that Arsenal's going to win. Because they won't. They won't ever win against the likes of Bournemouth, Swansea, or even Watford. You can see those results previously. Watford winning against Arsenal at home, Bournemouth winning against Arsenal at home, and then you've got Swansea winning at home. So, from those results, can you possibly say that Arsenal is possibly the team with possibly the worst defence I've ever seen in the Premier League? And I think everyone is possibly saying that right now. Anyway, let's move on to another really good game where Bournemouth came out with a really impressive 3-0 victory over Chelsea. Wow. Now, again, I think Bournemouth, they are such of an underrated team. You wouldn't usually expect them to beat Chelsea away from home 3-0. That's unbelievable. I thought Callum Wilson, Jordan Ayew and Junior Stanislas were possibly the 3 best players on the pitch for Bournemouth. They did so many good interconnect passing. I love all of the passing that they do, which was absolutely beautiful to watch. And then they scored 3 goals in the second half. And I thought, that's well deserving because Bournemouth was by far the better side and Chelsea looked like they hardly care. It's just, I think teams nowadays, when you face up against weaker sides like Bournemouth or Crystal Palace, you think, oh, it's 3-0 in the bag, 3 goals in the bag, that's guaranteed 3 points. But then when you don't focus on, you don't concentrate on the game, teams like Bournemouth can really punish you. And I just think that Chelsea just suffered one of their biggest defeats at home in the Premier League this season. By far, I think Bournemouth were absolutely amazing, and Chelsea, they just didn't care. They had lack of passion, they had a lack of enthusiasm, and I just saw like sloppy passes being passed around, not really doing good shots on target. I know Hazard had a few shots, and to be fair, Bournemouth had a better defence, they had a better midfield, and they had a better counter-attack as well. So I would have to say that Bournemouth were possibly the better side. But also we've got some other results like Huddersfield losing to Liverpool 3-0. Now typical Liverpool, it's possibly not going to happen like it had with Swansea. Swansea was a different result, but this game was pretty much Liverpool's game right from the start, because I can always sense that when Huddersfield is facing Liverpool, the only result I see is 3-0, and that's 3-0 to Liverpool. So yeah, that was that game. I don't want to bother talking about it because it's just, Liverpool is just counter-attacking other weaker sides and they're punishing them for what they don't do. And Huddersfield, they haven't had a win since ages, and I feel like they're going to suffer really, really badly throughout the season, because if they don't get a win sooner or later, when it comes to May or when it comes to April, they're going to be fighting in a relegation battle. I'm telling you right now. But I think Huddersfield fans, they still have a little bit of hope. But if they do survive the season, they're good, fair play to them. But right now, I see them in 16th place, and they need to get a win so badly, because right now they are in a relegation battle, because everyone is. I think all of the lower teams, they're in such a big, massive relegation battle, like West Brom, Stoke, Southampton, Swansea, Newcastle, Brighton. You've got all those teams who are fighting in a relegation battle, because literally at the end of the season, it could be either one of those teams who could be relegated. Now, I would have to say that at the start of the season, I would have thought that Huddersfield, Brighton and Watford would have been relegated, but right now, I want to say that my opinions have changed right now, just looking at the season right now. I think the teams who are likely to get relegated are West Brom, Stoke, and I'm also going to throw in Swansea. Although they may have the wins against Arsenal and Liverpool, which have been really fantastic results. But when it comes to other results though, I don't see them. They may come 18th. It might be really tight between them, Southampton and Swansea. I don't know for sure. Speaking of Southampton, they haven't been doing well at all. I mean, they only drew against Brighton just yesterday, and I felt that Brighton were the better side. They had a penalty and Glenn Murray took it away nicely, and then Southampton got back into the game with a shabby little goal from Jack Stevens, just heel flicking it into the goal, and just thought, hey, Southampton got a goal, they could at least get a draw from this. And I think Southampton are trying to get as so many points as possible, that I think the draws is possibly enough for them. But the thing is, Southampton, they need to win more games, and I feel like that when I do my career mode on FIFA, I do a Southampton career mode because I really love their squad. And the one player that I see Southampton missing in the squad is Charlie Austin, because when Charlie Austin played for Southampton in a few games, he was winning them goals and he was winning Southampton games, and that was such of a huge massive result for Southampton when they had Charlie Austin. But now they don't have Charlie Austin, I don't see them winning anymore. So if they could bring back Charlie Austin or bring back Gabbiadini, then that'll be pretty good. But I think Southampton, they just need to win a few more games so they could really improve on this season a lot. And I think in the summer, they should really sign more players. But to be fair to Southampton, they did buy another striker during the January transfer window. So at least they've got a number 9 striker, which could possibly give them some important goals throughout the season. So I could actually see Southampton being safe throughout the season, but who knows, it's still halfway through the season yet. Anyway, next, let's move on to Newcastle United and Burnley. Now, I thought Newcastle United, they've been struggling again. I think it's the like with Southampton, they've been struggling on wins for ages, and I don't think Newcastle have had a single home win against any Premier League side since October. It's been so long for Newcastle United fans to get a home win, but I would say that Newcastle did really well in the second half, and in the first half they had a penalty, but Joshua Liu just couldn't take the penalty and it stayed at 1-0, and then all of a sudden Newcastle scored, and then all of a sudden Burnley scored with a Sam Vokes header, and then the Newcastle keeper kind of pushes it into the net, which gave Burnley the 1-1 draw, which I think Burnley, they're now playing for draws, but when it comes to other sides, they really need to dig deep, and they really need to really punish teams for what they can really do. I know with Manchester United, we were possibly looking for a draw when Burnley were facing Manchester United. I felt that when we scored first, they were more likely to score another goal and equalise. So the thing is about Burnley, they are really a strong defensive side, and they could really punish teams if they don't do things right in the matches. So I think Burnley, I think they are really good so far, but again, I think they need to go back on a winning streak, because I know from a time in November, they had a massive, brilliant winning streak, and they're banging so many goals and so many wins against stronger sides, and it was such an impressive run for Burnley. But right now, I think they need to just win a few more games to get themselves back in form again. Anyway, let's move on to Manchester City and West Brom. Now, of course, I'm not going to explain too much about this game because you already know the story. Manchester City win every single fucking time. The thing is, it's Kevin De Bruyne, Aguero and Fernandinho getting the goals for Manchester City, and it's a comfortable 3-0 win against West Brom. The thing is, nowadays, with Manchester City winning every single game, it's just boring. Just coming from a United's point of view, just watching City punish teams, it's just really boring. You see all these scorelines of Manchester City, 3-0, 4-0, 2-0. Gosh, it's so boring to watch Man City win all the time. It's so boring. I just really even want just for them to even draw or even lose. From that results, that could actually be a really good game. But the thing is, when Manchester City win all the time, I know it's sick, and I know I'm a United fan, and I am sick and tired of Manchester City winning all the time, but don't you think it's just a bit boring with them winning all the time? I just feel like that the league for them is too easy. And I don't know if Manchester City next season could do a double where they could win the Premier League season in a row twice. Who knows? But I feel like that Manchester City, they've been dominant throughout this season. The best team in the Premier League so far this season. And again, I'm feeling like that they've already won the title, but just watching them defeat other sides is just really boring. I just think that when they actually lost against Liverpool, that's possibly the best game that I've ever seen from, you know, Manchester City, because they lost. It was such an exciting game because they lost. And even though Crystal Palace and versus Manchester City had a really good game, because Crystal Palace drew against Manchester City. So again, I would say that was another really good game, because it's just, the thing is, Manchester City keep on winning all the time, and it's just that, oh, I just hate Manchester City winning all the time. Again, it's boring, but there you go. Anyway, let's move on to West Ham and Crystal Palace. Now, again, this is a game where both of these teams are similar to where they are right now. They were similar to where they were at the bottom of the table, but now they've moved up into really good positions, like 12th and 11th place, which I think they've done such a really great job to get out of the relegation zone. And it leaves us with West Brom and Southampton and Stoke being in the relegation zone. So, it's going to be a really interesting battle throughout the rest of the season. Who's going to get relegated and who's not going to get relegated. Also, let's have a look at all of the other games that I've missed out. Oh yes, of course, I've missed out too. I've missed out Stoke and Watford. That was a really boring game. I'm not going to talk about that. It ended at a 0-0 draw for both teams. Again, Stoke, they've got their new manager, and Watford, they've got their new manager. So again, pretty boring game. That's possibly the boringest game I've ever, you know, watched in the Premier League this season. And also we had Everton banging in a 2-1 victory against Leicester. Leicester without Riyad Mahrez. And then also Everton scoring 2 goals with their new signed player, Theo Walcott, giving them the win against Leicester. So it's a really well-earned victory for Everton. I think Big Sam has signed well, seeing Theo Walcott and also Seamus Coleman returning to the squad. So you see that I think Theo Walcott has proven to be a really great Everton player. And I think Leicester, since Mahrez was going to hand in a transfer request to Manchester City, that's not going to happen anymore. I think Leicester are planning to keep Mahrez for the rest of the season. Then maybe when the summer transfer window comes around, they're probably going to sell him. But I don't know. Anyway, I think that does it for this video anyway. Anyway, thank you so much for watching for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please smash the like button and remember to subscribe to this channel for more amazing videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time in the next video for another Premier League catch-up show. See you guys later. Goodbye.